All right, it's the end of the final day at Nova, and we have a very special battle report for you. We have Joe, tournament winner, with his killer double raider list, going up against Hawk Simon with his feral resistance. This is what you get if you win Nova this year. You get to play Simon. So anyway, we're playing the... we're playing Secure the Flanks. You come in from the side. Objectives are worth 1 if you control them at the end of the game, and 2 if you get them off the board. There are also 2 focal points, one in this L-shaped building, another one over there, which you can't see, but it's inside that building. If you contest a focal point by having at least 1 ground unit near it at the end of the game, you get 1 point. If you also have the most amount of ground vehicles or infantry near it at the end of the game, you get 1 additional point for controlling it. Kill point breaks the tie, and that's it. We'll be back in just a second with the army.
Alright, so I've got only 5 battle groups. My command, Desolator, level 3, and then 2 Screamers with their dropships, the Raiders. I have an elite battle group, which is actually split, the exotic. It's Prowlers and 2 Destroyer squads. I have 2 infantry battle groups, each one a single squad of infantry and an intruder, and an AA squad, Ravagers, in a Harbinger with the AA. And then my tank battle group, Stalkers, with the Harbinger with no AA.
Okay, so I basically got my first battle group is just some sort of throwaway activation of 3 free runners. Then I've got 24 rocket technicals in a Leviathan with AA, Hellhog with extra ammo, Alexander with a level 4 commander in it, and a AA armed lift hawk with a barrel bomb with AA. I then have Jacksons with 2 squads of resistance fighters and 1 squad of berserkers. And then I also have a squad of resistance fighters in a drive-on battle bus with no weapons. And then finally I have the 3 gun wagons and another barrel bomber with AA.
It's the start of turn 1. Simon has won the initiative roll-off and has made Joe go first.
Alright, so I moved on my Stalkers, and that's it.
So I activated my 3 riders and put them in the back building.
So I activated my first warrior group, dropped them into the building, activated my Harbinger with the
Ravagers.
whatever the AA is, Ravagers, and dropped them.
So I brought on my infantry battle group and dumped everything into the building. The battle bus used exceptional ground to get an extra inch, so the men could get into as well. Everything's in there?
The lift hawk's back behind
Lift
there.
hawk's hiding behind there.
Okay, so drop the infantry into the building here, drop the AA there.
All the rocket technicals on their Leviathan are now cruising between the buildings, on the way towards the Scourge. Evil, evil Scourge.
Move the Prowlers up to here, put both the Destroyers into the building.
Okay, so I brought my gun wagons on and their Kraken, and then brought the lift hawk, the barrel bomber, hiding behind the building, ready to kind of threaten some of Joe's buildings.
Alright, so I brought in the commander to there and the 2 raiders to there.
I moved my barrel bomber up here, and my Alexander stayed in its lift hawk over here.
All right, start of turn 2. Simon has won the initiative roll-off and elected to go second, and Joe played Abandon All Hope, and Simon had to discard 3 of his 4 cards in his hand. Yep, those ones, not a huge loss. And then the Hellhog has Combative Reserve, and anything for you? Nope, that's it. All right.
Alright, infantry activated, did not find the objective. The dropship, the Harbinger, moved up, and the AA moved up.
Activated my 3 riders, they searched the objective and did not find it.
Alright, activated the other infantry squad, also failed to find the objective and moved their AA up. Harbinger also moved up.
I did my infantry, rolled all the dice to find the objective, and found precisely 0. That's it. Sadly, that's over.
So I activated the Stalkers, dropped them, and put them behind the building there.
So the Hellhog flew down, hid behind the building slightly. Joe reaction fired with this Stalker, because the one that was there was in his rear arc. He didn't do any damage. In return, I blew apart the one that was headed back to me.
And you're hovering.
And I'm hovering, yeah.
Alright, so I moved the Destroyers, moved them into the building after they failed to find the objective, and moved the Prowlers up to there, dropped them behind the building.
He reaction fired with his lift hawk. Hit, but could not kill.
So I got my Alexander out and started some successful shooting, killing a couple of Prowlers from the lift hawk with machine guns and missile. And then my barrel bomber decided to come over here, drop a Goliath bomb in the middle of the building, and promptly rolled a 1 to hit. And the missile fired in and did a point of damage. No falling masonry though.
Alright, so I moved the Raiders up, dropped Screamers, and moved the Desolator up to where he can hopefully get something in the future.
Okay. So the rocket technicals, some deployed, kill off a screamer. The AA did 2 damage points to a Harbinger. In the other battle group, because Joe's run out of battle groups to activate, the AA took a shot at a screamer and missed, and the barrel bomber did 16 points of damage to the building.
Start of turn 3, Simon won the roll-off. Joe played an Abandon All Hope, and Simon espionaged it, and that's it.
So that didn't go quite according to plan. My infantry activated, and promptly did not roll a single 5 on 4 dice. I was very sad. Joe was very happy.
Alright, so I activated my commanders. The raiders were just out of range of the building, so they flamed buggies completely ineffectually. The commander flew up, did his AoE, popped a couple technicals, and did a couple wounds to that. Not much else. Also did a wound to my stalker, or my screamer.
Yeah, and the screamer clawed the Leviathan for 1 damage.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a big turn. Turn 3, we've both been rolling terribly after Joe failed to, just was doing really badly. My rocket technicals just obliterated the building, killing all the destroyers inside. 4 stands, very worth it. Although it does mean the Hulk's now going to get it from all the AA. And also crushed a stalker for the collapsing building. The Leviathan was a boss and did 2 damage points to the raider. And yeah, I was hoping these guys were going to be able to kill the AA so that these Hulk could have more fun. But it was more important I took the building out. Because it's denied me 1, but it's denied Joe 1, which is more important at this stage.
Alright, so I activated the infantry with the AA. The AA moved up, they stomped on 2 technicals, and they shot down the Hellhog. The infantry again failed to fly on the objective, but they moved up and shot 2 of the buggies. Alright, so I activated the AA with the infantry. The infantry finally found the objective and left. The AA shot down the barrel bomber that had yet to activate.
So the barrel bomber I didn't get because it got blown up by by Joe's AA. The anti-air came out, blew apart the raider, and exploded in the air, so nothing got crushed. This once again missed the screamer, and that was it.
Alright, so I activated my anti-tank, the stalkers, and they did nothing, shooting at the dropship. The bomb also missed.
So I did my free riders. They rolled a 5, which would have been enough to find the objective, except there's a screamer still alive because it refuses to die.
Alright, so I activated the destroyers, which is just dropships, and the single prowler. The single prowler ate one of the AA tanks, or the AA wagons. The prowler's dropship ate a wagon, and the 2 dropships over here killed one of the technicals.
Start of turn 4, Simon won the roll-off, and we'll be going first, and nobody played any cards.
So this one took a while for me to work out because I was debating. It's quite a crucial thing. I decided not to do my infantry. Risk. But I decided that these guys couldn't do enough damage to stop these rolling. If I can kill the screamer off, it's on a 4+ rather than a 5+ this turn. So did my technicals that were here, blew apart the screamer, and then retreated 9 around here. The Leviathan did 4 wounds with 1 volley to Joe's Desolator, which is awesome. And then the rocket technicals that were here blew apart a Ravager and then bravely retreated around the corner to hide from the return fire. And that's it.
Alright, so the Prowler and Destroyer dropships all took shots onto them and did not hurt any of them, despite needing 3s and 2s.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Simon played a card off camera. That's why there's a wagon back now with 1 wound. It was, what was the card called?
It was Resilience.
Yeah, I played a Resilience card.
So I played Quick Thinking to move my Stalkers and that to try to take the AA out before they could shoot. Unfortunately, 2s and 2s is still not good enough to kill the AA, which took a wound, but are otherwise fine.
The plucky plucky wagons, did another wound to Joe's Desolator, dropping it to 1 damage point, probably retreated into their hovercraft, which had missed the Prowler, and were bravely running away, hoping to live to fight another day.
Alright, so the Ravagers fired at the barrel bomber, put a wound on it, and their Harbinger moved over there and managed to bomb one of the technicals.
So I did my command battle group. I tried to activate my barrel bomber, last barrel bomber. Joe promptly blew it out the air with a phenomenal roll from the unused Ravagers. Then my commander failed on a 1 to kill Stalker, and his Lift Hawk with AA missed Joe's 1 wound Desolator and probably failed to miss the building with all its other shots. So, yeah.
Alright, so I activated my commander. He went back here and hid and went to the deck. The Raider went and killed a bike squad.
Yep, they were there.
Yep.
And I finally found the objective, although I did scare myself by rolling triple 1 and then a 5. So I did manage to find it. Everything got in the Jacksons and ran away off the table. They're all sort of in the talk off the table, going, whoa, free.
Alright, activated the infantry and the AA. The AA moved up. The infantry got them out of the building and moved there.
Okay, so the bikes that were in this building, we tried to retreat and run over here.
Start of turn 5, Joe won the initiative roll-off, and nobody played any cards.
So Commander went, he AoE'd right here, killed several of the technicals, all but 2, and then the Screamer, or the Raider went over and flamed 1 to death.
Okay, so I tried to move my gun wagons, the Kraken retreated and blew apart the last remaining Prowler. 3 objectives.
So I activated my Stalkers. They came up, clawed, and shot into the Kraken and exploded it, killing everything inside.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I chose to use my rocket technicals. The Leviathan wedged itself here to make it tough for the Ravager to get in. His lads blew apart the other Ravager, and the final rocket technical over here retreated up following the Desolator, which is possibly suicidal. He's decided that the best way to survive is to be underneath it, so it can't get hit by it, because his logic is decided now. Yeah. Underneath it, it can't see me.
Alright, so I activated them. They shot and killed 4 of the technicals.
Really good shooting.
Pretty amazing rolling.
Yep.
And moved back onto the focal point. The transport tried to bomb the thing and failed.
And the infantry.
Yeah, the infantry moved.
As he came out of reserve, he rolled the reserve roll at the start of the turn.
Yep, so I activated my Free Riders who raced up the highway to hide behind the building near the focal point.
Alright, so I activated the infantry with the Harbingers here. It picked up the 1 remaining Ravager, and the infantry just sat there and waited for next turn when it all goes down.
I activated my Lift Hawk. It flew over top of the building and took an AA shot at his Intruder Alpha, blew it apart. The men survived, but they're now in the open and not able to get to the objective. The boss took a long-range shot at the Stalker, blew it apart, and then moved to make sure he was within range of the focal point.
Start of turn 6, Simon won the roll-off, nobody played any cards. And your reserves came in?
Oh yes, good point. Did my reserves come in?
Yes, they do. Alright.
So I went first, thought I was doing the right thing. Lift Hawk went over here to take shots there. Double hit, no fall, didn't kill it. Sad times. Over this side, cheeky long range shot at the Stalker. Got the hit, but couldn't roll the 4 either. Sad, sad time.
Alright, so my commander killed the last bike, which was the technical, which was big, and then moved over and went to the deck on the focal point.
So I just did my infantry, making no point in the game. They just raced up the side to look imposing.
Alright, so I moved my Ravagers back out, because why not? Popped the technicals, but he played a resilience to save 1. My infantry moved out and put 4 wounds on the Leviathan with some nice rolls.
Yep, it's got 2 damage points left.
3 riders went to the building.
So Simon played supercharged.
At the beginning of the turn.
Yeah.
And so his technical had extra movement, so it was actually able to move 13 inches up there where the Ravagers are. So it's sitting right there.
Alright, so I activated my Stalker, popped Simon's last desperate attempt to get a point.
Yep.
And failed a bomb. Alright, so I flew my Ravager over here, played Crazy Pilot, and dropped the Ravager on the objective. Simon played an IED and blew up the Ravager. The troops were shot down by the AA there, and that's the turn, which means neither of us is contesting a focal point. Each of us has an objective, so that is a draw.
We'll be back in a sec. All right, so it's the end of the game. It's a draw. I'll just go over the scoring real quick. So Joe was able to extract that objective for 2 points, and he controlled this focal point uncontested for 2 points. That's 4. Simon was able to get that one off for 2 points. He controls that one amazingly, doing an IED and some heroic last-minute reaction fire for 2 points. So it's a 4-4 draw. So, what are your thoughts on the game?
It was a great game, really enjoyable. The first couple of turns, both of us were appalling dice rolls. First of all, turns like 1, 2, and 3, neither of us did anything. It was just amazing how many 1s and 2s you both rolled constantly.
Yeah.
And then turns like 4, 5, 6. You know, it all went a bit better for Joe and his dice. But saying that, it was a fantastic game, and it came down to an IED card. You know, that is the best kind of game. But it's like 4+ to, and that was the dice. 4+ to draw the game.
And it was very dramatically spinning like a top, so we didn't see what it was
No,
until
it was
settled
perfect.
down. It was great.
Yeah, there was a lot at the end that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Had I not popped that, Simon could have won. Had I popped that with the 3 shots, I would have won.
Yep.
Or the IED not gone
Yep.
off.
And that's Dropzone. It's the great thing about it. It's always, usually it's very close. And, literally the last roll of the game, 50-50, that's what happens.
I think my major mistake, which I spent the whole game making up for, was completely forgetting that barrel bombers blow up buildings. Well, really forgetting that they exist as a thing.
Yeah, it was a pity because in turn 2, both of the destroyers that got into that central building are right at the beginning of the turn, and I had 2 barrel bombers perfectly situated to go and destroy it. And the first one went up and promptly rolled a 1, so it didn't hit. And the second one did 16 points to it, but if I'd done that with both of them, brought that down, and what it meant is that I had to use my technicals to kill it, which they did do, but it meant I couldn't but it meant I couldn't use them to kill all his stalkers and ravagers, which is what I wanted to do with them. And I think what Joe was trying to tempt me into doing. And I spotted it at the last minute and swatched my target to the building. But that's why I play games of dice. It's always random.
Yeah. And for all the talk about the Raider and how powerful it was and how much it dominated the Saturday tournament, Simon went up against it with, didn't do that much. Simon was appropriately cautious. He's played against it before, unlike most of the people at the tournament. He knows how to deal with it. And he was playing a list that a lot of people would say is maybe not as powerful, which is the Feral Resistance, and he played the Power Raider list to a draw. So, this is a very balanced game, and it's really great to see games like this come out at the really high level.
Yeah, and I think the Raider is really good, but, like anything, if you know it's coming, and you can see it coming, you can at least try and plan for it. And yes, it's going to cause massive problems, and we'll see what happens at our Invasion tournament as I say, this is a couple of weeks away.
This will come out within a week, so yeah.
So before we'll see what happens, and we may or may not make some changes to it. But it was a threat, and it made me. Well, I had to deal with it, but I just changed my game plan and worked around it. Obviously, if you stick with infantry in buildings and let it flame them to death, that's going to hurt. Yes, it's stopping you from searching for objectives, but if you let him go into the building first and just get in combat with him, you can at least got another turn of trying to kill it before once you win the combat, if you win the combat, or you just hide it behind buildings, hide your infantry behind buildings, and it gives you again more turns to try and deal with it. And yes, it means you're going to be late game rolling for the objectives, but if it means that you don't lose all your infantry, then maybe it's worth doing.
Yeah, and you can counter it with your own non-infantry building destroying tactics, so that could either be your own flamers or in this case the barrel bombers.
Yep.
So even though he had to cede the center of the board because of the threat from the Raider, he was able to counter that by using his barrel bombers to blow up the center building when he put his destroyers in.
And I accepted that it was going to be probably 1 each on the objectives, because I was going to destroy this one. And we were both then, it would all be about focal points. And I was trying to race up the flank, and Joe very sensibly just obliterated all my technicals. And they're not the best thing, but it was kind of all I had, because I had to send my AA, because of the threat from the Raiders, I had to send my heavy hovercraft with the AA over this way, which meant it was too late to get over and contest that, which was the original plan, was the Leviathan would head up and contest that one.
Yeah.
The barrel bombers are a little. Obviously the one really screwed you, but I think I horribly misplayed the first 2 turns. I was kind of trying to recover for it all game. That just completely forgot that the barrel bombers lay waste to buildings. Was looking at your army and was like, well, the Alexander's not even down yet. The technicals are sitting there, not worried at all about putting guys into this building, and then they almost died in 1 turn. And then the second turn, I doubled down on making bad decisions there by not activating them first, and instead going for the shots which were out of range with the screamers. So that was really as bad as I could have played it. And I think if I had the destroyers, I could have played a lot more conservatively the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Whereas not having them, it made it very, very difficult moving forward.
Yeah, because you couldn't really threaten my backfield objective, which I did take a ridiculously long time to find, despite the fact I had 5 squads of infantry. I think it took to like turn 4 or something before I finally rolled the and found it.
Yeah.
But
it was end of 3.
It might have been. I think it was 4.
No, it was 4.
I think it was 4.
Because I went off on 4 and
he rolled.
It is 4.
And that was it. So because you could have threatened them with the destroyers, and your destroyers are also on your list. It's quite a chunky anti-tank because you're only really rocking 3 stalkers. So if you suddenly got 12 destroyer shots, granted they're only 1 shot, but out of this central building, it dominates a lot of the boards.
Yeah, the destroyers
into like the
Warriors,
Leviathan.
The Warriors wind up being a lot of my anti-tank.
Yeah.
Which also hurt me not finding the objective for so long, because then they got stuck here.
Yeah. Although they made up for it. They made up for it late game. 2 bases came around, walked around the corner in the open, and probably hit twice both of them, and did 4 damage points to the Leviathan in an orgy of plasma violence.
Yeah.
I think they were very angry and we wanted to make sure that I didn't put plasma weapons on this one and turn into
Like Thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm.
Great. All right, well, thanks for the great game, guys. I think it's going to make a great report. Everyone, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you at Nova next year.